Let's humanize the workplace. As a workplace wellness advocate, 𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗃 helps managers with keeping their team members healthy, happy, and safe. Inspired by Richard Branson's quote, "Take care of your employees, and they will take care of your clients." As a result of working with her, your team members will go from disconnected, unmotivated, burned out, to happy, engaged, and productive. People who thrive have a positive impact on your clients and your company.
Hi, everybody. Oh, I have to change my branding. Hi, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. My name is 𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗃, and I'm the workplace wellness advocate. And I'm so excited about tonight, right? Because we are going to talk about representation matters, or else it's also known as inclusive diversity, because nowadays it's so important to have inclusive diversity. But first of all, thank you for watching this live show, and please let me know if you can hear me well, because it's very important to hear me well. So just let me know, can you hear me well? I sometimes have to watch the screen to see the LinkedIn comments. So if you're watching from Twitter, please let me know. If you're watching from Periscope, please let me know. And if you're Team LinkedIn, also let me know. So because of the comments not being active on LinkedIn or not being pulled into my tool that I'm using, I have to watch on my phone. I have to watch the comment on my phone. So luckily I have two wonderful ladies who are helping me out today. So I'm also curious, where are you from, right? Where are you watching this live stream? Are you in Amsterdam, or are you somewhere across the States, or are you in Australia maybe? I'm curious, so please share that in the comment section. That's all about. That is what it's there for, right? So for those of you who are watching this live stream at this moment, hashtag Team Live, because I'm very curious if you're watching it on the live stream. And for those of you who are watching the replay, please use hashtag replay. I'll try to answer your questions, answer your stories, share your thoughts, and also give you a warm welcome. So in the meantime, I'm going to have a look at my app and see who's online. Just one moment, please. Hey, Danique, hi. Good afternoon. Yes, Rosemary did it. Hi, thank you. Wow, Team Live from Belgium, from London. Wow, that's so amazing. Thank you, ladies, for joining this episode. And Raquel, hi, Team Almere. Wow, so many wonderful ladies on this broadcast. So then again, there are so many wonderful ladies joining this broadcast. So I have something to share, and I'm going to share my screen at the moment. So let's humanize the workplace. Why is it there? Can you hear me? Please let me know, because it's very important that you can hear me. Hi, Moses. Hi, Jessica. Wow, from Seattle. Wow, that's amazing. That's very amazing. Just let me know. Can you hear me? Because I'm just testing a few things out. So many people joined everywhere. Wow. So why? First of all, sharing is caring. I put a lot of heart and soul and a lot of energy and time doing this live stream broadcast. And if you feel like you can help out somebody, or if you feel like we are sharing valuable tips and valuable information, please share this broadcast with other people. Please share this broadcast with your network, because my mission is humanizing the workplace. I hear so many bad news, bad news that people are burning out, people are stressed, and people are disengaged at the workplace. And I want to revamp that. I want to bring the human factor back in the workplace, not at the workplace, in the workplace. I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗃. I'm born and raised in the Netherlands, so forgive me for my English. That's something that I'm working on, but I'm doing my very best to humanize the workplace, because it's a personal mission. After enduring, let's say, not so positive interactions at the workplace, in the workplace, but also experiences from other people, people who are sending me messages about what they endured at the workplace. And that inspired me to do that, to share this live stream, right? So one of the things that I also want to address is the Sustainable Development Goals, right? So for me, it's very important that we build a sustainable workplace and that we work on the goals for achieving a better well-being. And that's why at every live stream, I try to address this, that we need a better well-being, we need a decent work, but we also need equality in the workplace. So today it's all about equality in the workplace, and that's why representation matters. It not only matters for the race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, religious, generation, but also disability, personality type, and thinking style. It's important to be represented. It's important to have representation in the workplace, so that people feel at home in the workplace, and so that people don't feel that they are the only ones. So with no further ado, I want to welcome my following guests. The first guest is Yulia Bondar, and Julia is a tech and people enthusiast. Julia is a tech and people enthusiast recruiter. She's always curious about people at work, what drives them, and what keeps them happy, and so on. Welcome, Julia. Thank you for being on this live broadcast.
Hi, Vivian. Hi, everybody.
And my second guest is Kristen Mashburn, all the way from the States. I'm forgetting where you are at the moment, so please share. But she's a company culture consultant. She's passionate about building happy and healthy and high-performing teams. Welcome, Kristen.
Hi, happy to be here. I'm from Tennessee.
Yes. Oh, I'm just playing around with the controls here. So the first question: what does diversity and inclusion mean to you? And I'm going to address this to Julia first.
Yeah, hi again. Nice to participate in this important discussion. I would say that as there is a lot of conversation about diversity, for me, diversity means that like providing people with unequal opportunities, and but not providing people with equal results. So that's what I mean by diversity.
Mm-hmm. And you, Kristen?
Yeah, for me, it's just everybody kind of being able to have a seat at the table and being able to have the same seat at the table. So all being able to sort of have that equal playing field.
And also, I'm curious about what those who are watching, if you have something to add on this question, please do engage, because I'm really curious about what your thoughts are regarding the questions that I'm sharing or that we are sharing, right? So please engage, and I'll try to include you in the conversation as well.
One of the questions that I had was, how do you make values-based hires and still achieve diversity?
So for me, one of the things that I was thinking about is it's important to address biases. And one of the things that I feel that is important when it comes to the recruiting part is teach your people regarding unconscious bias, because it can also affect the hiring process. It can also affect diversity entering in the company. So I would say start with the recruiting part, and then later on add that layer, also train the people also regarding unconscious bias, so to prevent it from self-destructing your organization culture. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, and also when you're doing an interview with someone, add that diversity panel, interview panel, right? Because they want to feel welcome. Why not, address them with a diversity interview panel? So that way they can feel at home and share as a company. You need to share your diversity standards, but you also need to share the real stories. Why should I be attractive? Why should somebody else be attracted to that company? Because I feel attracted to a company where I see myself represented, or I see some part, of my core values represented. If you have anything to add on, please do.
I would also say that if we hire for values, and values is something which is multicultural and global for every individual, so that actually doesn't prevent us from hiring diverse people from diverse backgrounds. This is exactly what we probably need to do. And when we would only look for values in people we want to hire, and not on their groups and statuses, that is how we would achieve diversity.
And Danique is also saying, I wish we could swap the words around. So inclusion and then diversity, because it's hard to be diverse if you don't know how to be inclusive. And I do agree. I do agree with that, because nowadays I see, I will get to the next question before I give anything away. So what's your number one advice for companies who want to work on their inclusive diversity? Let me address it that way, inclusive diversity. For you, Kristen, sorry.
Okay, sure. I'd say, you kind of hit on this right in the beginning in your intro, but not defining diversity just based on, some simple identifiers like race and sexuality, those kinds of things, but really thinking deeper about what diversity means to your organization, and making sure from the beginning that you're able to include a wide array of people based on, personality types, even the way that they tend to get things done, how their behavior kind of plays itself out on a team. Those kinds of things are also important elements to think of from a diversity standpoint.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add on?
Yeah, I totally agree here with Kristen. I also recently heard a very nice saying about that a lot of companies are hiring for cultural fit, but sometimes that's exactly makes it tricky, because we hire same personality types, people who solves the things the same way, which actually doesn't help with diversity. So the saying was about don't hire for culture fit, but hire for culture add. So hire someone who will add to your point of view. And this is something I would like to add to this conversation.
Yes, definitely. And it reminds me, I have a video to show, so please bear with me. I will show it later on. But first, the question that Julia wanted to ask me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, I'm very curious, what is the best practice you've ever seen and read about embracing and implementing diversity?
Well, I'm reading about a lot about the big companies. So Johnson & Johnson, Deloitte, the big companies. I have to bring it back because I am based in the Netherlands. And the thing that you addressed earlier regarding the cultural diversity or the gender diversity, that's something that I'm seeing a lot. But then again, I'm missing so many layers, because like in the beginning, I addressed so many layers regarding diversity, and I'm not seeing that being represented. I'm not seeing that being addressed. And in the Netherlands, we do have a problem. We do have a problem regarding cultural diversity. We do have a problem regarding gender diversity. We even, it's even mandatory by the government that companies who are, who are in the stock. I'm losing my words, but they are in the
publicly traded.
Yes, they are publicly traded. Thank you for helping me, Kristen. They were publicly traded, and we have a problem. Not even 30% of the women are in the boards. Not even the women that are in the board, it's not even 30%. So it's mandatory now in the Netherlands to at least make 30% of the public traded companies to add in more women. And we need to go a step further, add in more the layers of diversity, because I want to see myself somewhere in the top. I want to see myself represented, because then again, for me, looking at somebody who is in a certain position, it's also a way for me to achieve goals, to achieve ambitions, to work towards that goal, because I need somebody to look up to. Do you have anything to add on?
Oh, I think that makes perfect sense. That I think what's hard in practice is how do we measure those certain things to make sure that it's happening. That can be really difficult. But I was talking to someone actually earlier at a conference last week, and she was talking about what she was seeing in her world. And this is a very large company that she worked for. One of the elements of diversity she was not seeing is those people who were in higher level management, their partners weren't working. So it was this kind of environment of where the person who was working at that higher level was able to make their job their lives and didn't have split responsibilities at home, whether it was a woman or whether it was a man, not really aside from any kind of traditional gender roles. But that's what was happening. And so one thing she was wanting to see was that being represented. And she was hoping, she was finding herself kind of climbing the ladder to a certain degree, and hoping that she could be that representation for people who wanted, a valued work from both partners in the household.
True. It's a good point that you're addressing, and even men are struggling with that, right? Because there are some men who want to stay at home or who want to be present with their children, and they feel like they are being prohibited to do that. They feel that there is a barrier. I mean, I'm so proud of Serena Williams' husband, who is taking a step towards the future, saying that parental leave shouldn't only be for women. It should also be for men. Men need the time to bond with their family. Men need the time sorry, I'm doing something that's not why, because there are men who need their parental leave, but there also are gay couples who need their parental leave. So I'm just addressing, I'm sorry. The other partner needs that parental leave as well, because it's important that both parents have the time to bond with each other, have the time to get accustomed to their new ways, and also to adjust within their new situation.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm experiencing so far, or my impression regarding this, like the best practices, is that a lot of companies, they work on like diversity numbers. So it's some part of their employer branding or achieving just objective results. So in the in the selling speech of recruiter, that would be always like, okay, we have 60 nationalities, 50% women, etc., which doesn't necessarily mean they take care about inclusion in the workplace. So a lot of companies do a lot of efforts right now to employ a diverse environment, but I think it's very, very important that they are thinking through how will these people feel after they join the organization, and what are the things that has to be done within it. And maybe a good thing, good example is a binder. This is Dutch scale-up company. What they do to make sure that cultural differences are embraced in their organization, they do during their onboarding process. They always have a culture differences training where they teach people or educate them in order how different reactions and different style of communication people can have, which actually help them then to interact and communicate in the best way.
Thank you for sharing. I had a video to share, right? Because it's regarding inclusive diversity, and there was a movie regarding Pearl. So I'm going to show that now, so that people can, you know, share what they think about that movie. And then in the meantime, I will. I wanted to end it here. Oh, you couldn't hear it, right? Could you hear it? No. Epic mistake. Okay. This was about Pearl. For those who haven't seen it, I'll share in the link because it's a must-watch movie. It's a short movie, 9 minutes, and it's important because this movie addresses how important diversity is, how important it is to have different insights, different people, but also different people attracting different clients, and also it's also helpful for the employer branding. So I'm going to ask the next question. Let me see. Yes.
So a question that I had, and this is something I personally battle with, is a chronic illness. And so I'm interested on your insight on what does inclusion look like for people with chronic illnesses or other invisible illnesses that, you know, it's not something that you can see and quantify. We've kind of been talking about how quantifying is such a big part of what we do in diversity a lot of times, but how do we address that?
It's important that even though there are not even though there are people who have disabilities working in the workplace, and all they want is to be treated human, right? So if there is, I heard about a story, or somebody told me about the story, that there was this guy who was disabled, but he has a hobby doing photography. Why not use that person, or ask that person to take the in-house photos for the company, for events where they enlight their passion, where they spark their passion? Why not ask them, you know, what is their hidden talent, or what is the added value that they can use within the company? Because they have passion, they have ambitions, they are human, and why not treat them in a human way? Why not address them like that?
Sure. Do you have anything to add, Yulia?
Well, what I'm thinking about it, that's very important, of course, to think about these kind of people. But I'm also, I think that's a big dilemma. Do we want to, you know? I think they want to be treated as equals. So I think in general, it's very good that if company focuses on hiring people for values or competences or skills rather than some objective characteristics, and which then will help these people to feel equal as well, because they're not hired, because they are from some minority, but more hired because of their skills. But what I'm thinking about, I was recently also at the conference regarding inclusion and diversity, and it's actually amazed me how many companies are looking into the accessibility of the application process for the people with different kind of disabilities. How little amount of the websites having these special tools for people who don't see properly, etc.
I mean, you're shocked that it's so low? Is that what you're addressing?
Yes,
that it's so
yes, exactly. I was shocked, and I was shocked. I didn't think about it. I work a lot with the startups, and neither of the 10 startups I used to work had these special features which would help people with disabilities also to apply. So I think this is also a very important part where we need to put a lot of effort, so we make the application process accessible to everyone.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And also what you addressed, like, we need to treat people like human. And why not ask a panel? Why not hire a panel? What do you think is missing from our website, or what do you think is missing within our company? How can you help us become more diversity and inclusion? Because I see, I don't want to bash those who are doing their best regarding diversity and inclusion, because I'm happy that there are ambassadors. But one thing that I'm allergic to is talking the talk and not walking the walk, because I call that window dressing, and I see right through that. I see right through that. When I come into a company, when they're saying they are diverse or they're working on their diversity, and even after a year, I'm still seeing the same thing. And we don't have the excuse anymore that you cannot have the excuse anymore. I can't find them. I can't find the diversity. Why not start with, I wrote something down. Why not start with offering internships for certain minorities or certain groups that you feel like it's underrepresented in your company, right? Because it can also help. Are the interns feeling that they can work for your company, and how can you make them feel welcome so that they can also pass on the baton to other interns or
Vivian?
Wow. Yes. Technical stuff. So the next question. No, this is something else, because we answered that already. What should? Oh, it's Julia. Yeah.
Yeah, this is something I wanted to ask. What do you think leaders should do to improve diversity at the workplace?
Walk the walk, and by also demonstrating that you're adding diversity in all layers, right? Not only at the bottom, because that's what I'm seeing now, but I also want to see myself and other people and other ingredients of inclusive diversity represented.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's good that they start at the bottom, but they need to work their way up, and they need to do it faster now than ever.
Yeah, Kristen, do you have something to tell?
Yeah, I think one thing I found helpful in really any value or any change that you want to make as a leader is being able to have some questions that you can ask yourself to help measure whether you're really doing these things that you say you want to do. And diversity, I don't think, is any different than that. Inclusion is no different than that. Being able to ask yourself questions like, when was the last time I was in a room that was truly diverse? And kind of focus back on that for yourself, because it's very easy. And this comes in whether we say we want to be innovative or whether we say we want to be open-minded or any of those things, they all sound really great. But where the rubber meets the road is being able to constantly self-evaluate. And I think that's a really good practice that you can do around diversity and formulating some questions.
And also be open for feedback. right? Also
Sure.
be open for
Yeah.
feedback, because I see so many leaders having, yay sayers around them, and people are mimicking their thoughts and their walk. And I rather have somebody from the outside, or somebody from who is able to share his or her thoughts, or who is able to speak up regarding regarding the diversity in the company, who's not being sacked before that, or who's not being criticized for being the difficult employee, to address that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I also have some comments to share. So Danique is sharing, it's hard to be diverse. Oh no, she already shared that. So she says, Julia, that's amazing. Cultural education training, that's awesome. Robert Smith is saying hi. Marilyn, I can't hear. That's my fault. I should have unmuted the video. So I'm going to share the link of the video in the comments. Going to watch it is the link. Yes. And Marlies is also saying hi. IT is an excellent illustration of being yourself on the workplace, a must-see movie. Yes, thank you. And leaders should be diverse and champion change.
Cool.
Anything to add on that?
Yeah, I would also agree with what you said before, and I think that, like, especially leaders, they live in their bubble, their social bubble of how they see the company, who are the best employees. I don't know, what are the best countries we should hire from, or what are the traits, and it's very important to be reflective and to be flexible in that, because again, it's not adding any benefits, and all the benefits are in differences.
True. And the last question that I wanted to share with you. So Kristen is asking this question, but I think let's all answer this question. So what are you most excited about regarding diversity, regarding inclusion for 2020? Because it's December, we want to humanize the workplace from next year going on. What do we need to see? What are the elements?
Kristen?
Yeah, I can start. For me, I'm excited that more people are talking about inclusion, and more people are putting inclusion first. That's really where the magic sauce is. That diversity doesn't matter very much if we're not being inclusive. So I'm hearing so much more talk around that, and I'm excited to see when we take that to the next level what that looks like.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you here. I think by building inclusive culture, you're just bringing diversity to the workplace, and it should be that way than another way around. Yeah, and I'm overall excited about a lot of automation which comes to recruitment or assessment, things which helps to reduce bias. So a lot of tools which are, helping to not look into the age or names or gender, etc. But also, like now I'm having a big experiment at work where we use psychological assessments and not human factor to evaluate certain competencies. So I think that automation also will help us a lot in reducing the bias and bringing diversity. And I'm very excited about that.
That's a very interesting take on reducing the bias, but I think that's another topic that we need to address.
Definitely.
I wanted to add on. I'm going just 1 minute over time because I see the clock is ticking away. I'm going to add on. I hope that inclusive diversity becomes a natural fit. I hope that it doesn't become mandatory where people are going to hate it. I want it to be embraced. I want it to feel natural. I want it to be part of the culture where you don't even have to address it anymore in the job vacancies or the job ads, because people can feel that the company is inclusive. They can see it in the videos. They can see what the employees are sharing. And that's how I can tell that the inclusive diversity operational process has worked. I know there is a lot to be done, and I know there's a lot of work for us all. But once we are having more of these conversations, once we are challenging, you know, those who are in charge, not only the leaders, because I feel like we can finger point so much towards the leaders, but then again, the employees, the people also have, you know, the responsibility to embrace inclusive diversity. So for those of you who are watching, thank you for watching. And for those of you who are Team Replay, please let us know if you have any questions or comments. We really would love, you know, your engagement, your side of the story. And thank you for watching. And I also wanted to share something about tomorrow, if my screen is working. It isn't working? Okay. So for tomorrow, I have the following guest, and that is the guest 𝗟𝗲𝗁, Mark Williams from People First, regarding putting your people first. It's going to be a very interesting topic, and it's going to be a very interesting panel, and looking forward to seeing you there. So please watch the live stream. I'm going to broadcast it 4 p.m. Central European time and 3 p.m. UK time and 9 p.m. CST time. I said, if you feel like this broadcast is of value, please share the love by sharing the broadcast. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.